Okay, so we're back. Here's all my empty boxes of Christmas decorations. That's all my duck hunting stuff. This is what happens when Christmas time and duck hunting time converge. My shop is a mess, but we're still working. So here we go, part two of the build along for the Nock inserts, and you can see here that the Nock has been glued in, or the Nock insert has been glued in. So now what we're going to do is just trim this down, and there's not much to it. You just get a saw or go over to the bandsaw and chop off all the excess wood here, and then clean it up with some sandpaper or the belt sander, which is what I'm going to do. Anyway, I'm going to get this camera set up and get that done, and we'll be back directly. Okay, so we're just going to take this over here to the bandsaw and get it done. You know, normally, you don't need bandsaw or belt sanders or any of that stuff to get this stuff done. Usually when I have just a few arrows to make, I'll do it all by hand using, hand tools, saw, sandpaper, files, rafts. But when you have a whole lot of arrows to do, it certainly does help to have power tools to do it. So maybe I'm making this look more difficult than it actually is, but it's really not difficult to make and do arrow inserts. Anyway, so I'm going to turn this on and just cut off the excess here, and then I'll show you how it looks. Alright, so you can see I cut off the excess. Now we're going to take it over to the belt sander and clean these up a little bit better. Okay, so there you go. Cleaned them up, sanded them down to the same level as the outside surface of the shaft. And now we're just going to take some sandpaper and clean that up even more. Okay, so just got to get some sandpaper here and sand this down and clean it up even more. Okay, so you can see that I finished sanding it down so it's pretty smooth along the outside surfaces here. Now what we're going to do, we're going to cut the actual string knock. So we're going to get that in the vise, and I'll show you how we do that. Okay, we've got the shaft in the vise here. You can see that the insert we installed, what I did, I just drew a line intersecting the insert there, because that's where we're going to cut in our knock. And I was just going to cut it on the bandsaw, but I'm going to do this one by hand. What we're going to do, we're going to come down about a quarter of an inch or so and make sure that a string will fit in there, and then clean it up, and then we'll be done with this. Okay, so what I do is I just get the triangle file here, and I line it up with my center line, and I just file in a groove into the top of the shaft. That way it'll give me a good guide for when I put the saw in here. This is like a tile, circular tile cutting blade. It's actually the same diameter as the three hacksaw blades put together. But I just decided I'm going to use this today because I've never really used it before. It's not very good to cut really long slots because it tends to veer away. But for short knocks, this is a good thing to use because it fits the string pretty well. Okay, so you can see the knock has been cut into the shaft, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to deepen these this triangular area here with the triangle file, so that your string can better center itself as you're trying to knock the arrow onto the bowstring. Okay, so I'm going to do that right now. Okay, you can see where I've deepened the V, so it'll be a little bit easier for you to center your string onto the knock and get the string on the shaft. Okay, so I guess that's it. What we're going to do now is just trim up and taper down the knock so that it's a little bit more thinner and easier to hold. Just taking a file, and what I'm doing, I'm tapering the knock down so that when you hold it, you know, your fingers aren't so split wide apart as it sits on the string. If you notice, you know, like on plastic knocks, you can see that they're tapered and they're kind of thin this way, and I don't know, it's just easier for you to get your fingers around the shaft here, and just looks like a nicer setup. Round off the edges. I don't know if you're in the camera or not, but or if I'm in the camera. But I'm just trying to get this done real quick here. And there you go. You can see it's thinner on the top, or flat on the top and on the bottom. And then we've got the V in here. So when you put your string in, it'll be easier to locate the knock. And there's the knock inserts. Anyway, that's it for now. Cash Took Bowcraft. Thanks for watching.